How do you get people to voluntarily give you authority over them? That's kind of a wild thing, right? Am I about to just drift off into some brainwashing techniques of how we can get people to magically, obey what you're saying? There are those things, right? Sleep deprivation, taking people away from their friends and family, making them feel guilty about things that they've done, and then you come in as the savior to them. Like, that stuff happens. It's real. It's brainwashing. You can brainwash people and get authority over them. Obviously, that's not what we're doing here. There was Dave and I were on a podcast, and it was like, I think it was just an unraveling or not an unraveling, it was a debrief podcast. And I posed this question kind of like, boom, I posed this question like, oh, if Dave called me right now and he really needs something from me, I would do it. And I was trying to think of like why we were talking about relationships. And what I realized is the actual reason why I would do something for Dave if he called me is because I care about him. Right? Like that's ultimately what it boils down to. If Leif calls me up and he's like, hey, Jocko, I need a bunch of money and I need you need to drive to my house and bring a wheelbarrow, a shovel, and some duct tape. I'm like, cool, I'll be there in an hour. But why am I doing that? I'm not scared of him. I don't owe him anything, right? So it's not intimidation. I don't owe him anything. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Because I care about him. So if people care about you in this weird, bizarre way, it actually gives you some level of authority with them. And guess what? This doesn't just apply to your friends. This applies to your team. If your team cares about you, all of a sudden, they do way more than you expect them to do. They do way more than you ask them to do. They do way more than you could expect from them. Because they care about you. What a wild concept. If you've read Leadership Strategy and Tactics, I had that terrible officer that we fired, that we had a mutiny on. We didn't care about that guy at all, and we wouldn't do anything for him. We didn't care about him. We didn't like him. We didn't care about him. Everything that we did was the bare minimum we had to do. When he got fired and the new guy, the new officer took over, Delta Charlie, we cared about him and we would do anything for him. They both had the same rank. They both had the same position. So if we end up with a team where we all care about each other, all of a sudden we've got this mutually supporting unit, this true team that is truly working together to help each other out. And when we've got that, then what we end up with is the ultimate form of leadership.